Hi there, it's good to be with you. I have complete battlefield report for you from Debre Tabor city. What happened there? Who is in control of this city? And now is Fano still there? Are clashes ongoing in the city or outside the city? How many casualties? Were patients injured too at hospitals? Were schools bombarded as well? Complete situation report from Debre Tabor for you. Let's start from when Fano entered Debre Tabor. 3 to 4 days ago, Fano fighters entered Debre Tabor. I did a video on that. A Fano commander was interviewed by Messi McConnell, and he said that around 80% of Debre Tabor was under Fano control. Why did Fano re-enter Debre Tabor? That Fano commander said that Fano withdrew from Debre Tabor a few days ago, but Ethiopian military kept on attacking Fano fighters in the outskirts. So that is why Fano fighters had to re-enter the city. When Fano fighters re-entered the city, we saw then start of urban combat. Military lost territories. Then came reinforcements. Somehow reinforcements arrived. ENDF reinforcements arrived in Debre Tabor. From which direction? From Vrata. As I said in previous videos, that Gashina to Nifas Micha Debre Tabor road is difficult to travel on for ENDF troops. So I think the reinforcements came from Ibnath and from the other side that is called Varata. Urban combat started. Military used force, heavy weapons were used, mortars were fired, artillery shells were fired, and hospitals and schools were hit. Deliberately or by mistake, but schools and hospitals came under attack. Were these schools and hospitals or some places near these schools and hospitals being used by Fano fighters as their basis? Difficult to say, but some people say that since fighting was close to the city is hospitals and schools, so that is why hospitals were hit in collateral damage. Fano fighters were not at the hospital reportedly, but since fighting was very close to the hospital, so that is why a hospital was hit too. Two hospitals hit. Debre Tabor specialized hospital hit. Patients standing at the entrance of the hospital, they were hit. Security guards were injured too, and around 5 were injured at the entrance of the hospital. Mortars landed inside the hospital as well. Hospital beds, hospital surgery equipment, etc. were damaged. Did any patients die? We don't know, but some say maternity ward of the hospital also came under attack and some newborn babies died, but no confirmation. Alimayeho first level clinic was hit too. Two schools came under attack too. Theodorus and Gafate secondary school damaged. Since fighting was inside the city, it was difficult to transport injured people to Debre Tabor Hospital, specialized hospital. Debre Tabor is capital of South Gondar. So hospital suspended its operations, you can say. Even those injured people who were outside the hospital, a few meters away, it was difficult to transport them to the hospital and then start treatment. because hospital was being bombarded. So all operations at the hospital were suspended. Fighting went on. Then Fano fighters started retreating. Fano, and today at this point of time, I'm recording this video, there is no large scale fighting in Debre Tabor city. Fano fighters have retreated from the city. They are in the outskirts of city now. Where? Before that, how many died in Debre Tabor city? No one clearly knows. Media has no access. Human rights groups have no access. But 10 casualties are being confirmed. 10 casualties of civilians. We don't know how many ENDF soldiers, how many Fano fighters died. Though it is difficult to distinguish between Fano fighters and civilians. But no one clearly knows about total death toll. How many injured, how many killed, difficult to say. But hospitals damaged, schools damaged, market damaged, civilians died. Fano and ENDF both suffered losses too. Houses, civilian houses bombarded too. Military used brutal force against Fano fighters. Fano fighters were trying to entrench themselves in Debre Tabor. Military then did not show any restraint. It used heavy weapons. Civilians died in collateral damage. So, what is happening now in Debre Tabor? Military trying to consolidate its control. Last time when military took over Debre Tabor, it started youth's arrests. Youths fled to join Fano. That strategy of large-scale arrests backfired. Then we saw some meetings between elders of Debre Tabor and military. Situation could not be resolved and Fano fighters returned. So now Fano fighters have retreated from Debre Tabor. They say that they retreated because of civilian casualties. They say hospitals, schools were being bombarded, people dying. That is why they decided to retreat from the city. That is what they say whenever they retreat from cities. They say they retreated for the sake of the protection of civilians. Question is, why do they enter cities if they know that civilians would die? So they are retreating. They have retreated. Alim Saga forest reportedly is their hideout. I reported that 2 days ago that they are based there. Based there for weeks. It's not something new. People say, Sajid, don't disclose Fano's whereabouts. If I know Fano fighters are based in Alim Saga, it means that military knows much more. Military is deliberately avoiding chasing Fano fighters. Military does not want to go deep into the forest mountains. If it happens, military could be badly trapped. It's not that military does not know what is happening. Military knows where Fano is based, where Fano factions are based. Military is avoiding deep penetration into difficult terrain. Otherwise, military has much more information than anyone. So, now the claim made by Tamasgan Tirone's state of emergency department have been exposed. What did the head of state of emergency setup say in some statements in the past 1 week or so? The government, through state of emergency setup, has been claiming that things returning to normalcy, peace returning to Amhara region, but what we are saying is the opposite, that Fano fighters retreated with their capabilities intact. I would reiterate what I have been saying, that Fano fighters retreated from 6 cities with their capabilities intact, and that has been proven within the last 3 to 4 days. Fano fighters retreated from Debre Marcos. You saw they entered Debre Marcos again. Fano fighters retreated from Debre Tabor. Then they re-entered Debre Tabor. So what I said was correct, that their capabilities were intact. Anyone, I think, who can understand the conflict, who wants to understand the conflict neutrally, can conclude that Fano's capabilities are intact. Why? Because their commanders not arrested, not killed, not injured, more weapons, more logistics, more recruits, more coordination. So obviously it means their capability is intact. They can easily or after some effort re-enter these town cities, make the local governments dysfunctional. If Fano fighters can storm these town cities, big cities, it means that there won't be any functional zonal and city level governments. Anytime Fano fighters can enter and the entire city structure is going to collapse. So this is the overall situation from Debre Tabor. Debre Tabor is, viewers, the capital of South Gondar. So you can imagine what is happening in smaller towns of South Gondar. It means that Fano fighters can easily remain in control of small towns. If they can re-enter Debre Tabor, it's not difficult for them to re-enter or to control small towns in Debre Tabor. That is why in Debre Tabor, North Wallo, government imposed communication blackout, communication, telecom services were cut off. So overall, civilians dying, Fano fighters showing that they are, their capabilities are intact. Military is trying to consolidate its gains, its control of cities. It's a long war, viewers. It cannot be decided in a few days or weeks. What is needed is peaceful, negotiated solution. Thank you for watching.